Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. So don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to keep up to date with all of my latest Pilates routines, rehab exercises and relaxation sessions. So today I wanted to guide you through some gentle exercises for our shoulder, and these exercises are going to be specifically targeted at a group of muscles that are quite important. They're called the rotator cuff, and they're a group of muscles that surround that ball and socket joint. Our shoulder's got quite a lot of mobility to it, and these muscles actually help to work like guy ropes, and they help to control us as we're moving. There's a couple of things that are really important with this set of exercises. The first of them is that throughout all of the exercise we're doing, what's absolutely critical is that during the exercise we keep in a good position with our shoulder. So as a physio, we call that scapular setting. Our scapula is the word for our shoulder blade. So when we do Pilates, we often do a very similar thing where we say about having wide collarbones and bringing the shoulder blade into the back pocket. So bringing that shoulder sort of back and down. So I'm not like a sergeant major trying to squeeze my chest out and squeeze my shoulder blades together. It's more subtle than that. It's more sort of a wide position where you're bringing the shoulder blade into your back pocket almost. And one way we can monitor that as well is, number one, by making sure the shoulder's not creeping forwards. The other thing that we can also do is if we've got our hand on the top of our shoulder, and this is why I've worn a vest today, is that muscle here, this bit of our trapezius, should stay nice and soft and fleshy. So if it feels really rock hard, you're probably not using the right muscles. We want to be using these muscles here, so that action of having the shoulder blades wide and bringing them back down slightly into your back pockets, it switches off this muscle and makes sure that we're not using it too much there. So throughout all of the exercises, the most important thing is keeping that position there, that scapular setting. If you find that during the exercise you're starting to go into a bad position or that muscle's starting to fire up, it might be you don't go quite as far with the exercise, or it might even be you just stop the exercise for a moment, reset your position and then start doing it again. So for these exercises, I'm going to use some exercise band. We call it Theraband. It's called resistance band in some places. You can buy it online. If you look for things like yoga band, Pilates band, there's all sorts of names they call it. You can find it in a lot of exercise catalogues, and it's on online shopping as well. I think I'm going to use today a red rubber band and a yellow band. In the UK, there's a colour coding. The gentlest form of the band is yellow, then it's red, and then it's green, blue, and then there's like a black and a grey. For the muscles we're trying to work today, we're trying to recruit postural muscles. If we start lifting really heavy loads, then it switches on other muscles that we're not really interested in. So this is all about low loading and just a slow controlled movement with a big focus on posture throughout the exercise. So I will use some yellow band, I will use some red band, and again, use what comes to hand. Sometimes people use things like an old pair of tights, sometimes you could try and use some resistance cable. At the start of lockdown, I bought some resistance cables because the gyms were all closed, and I've got these in lots of different colours, and the colour codes are exactly the same for these ones as they are for the rubber band. So you could use something like this and it would be absolutely fine. So have a little look at what comes to hand, and you might have even been given some by your therapist. So work at your level, but low level resistance is kind of where we're aiming at with these exercises. So I've tied a knot in the end of this, and the reason I've done that is that for the exercises, you could either stick that loop around a coat hook or something to anchor it, and then when you're doing the exercises, you can use that. Because I haven't got a coat hook over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the knots and I'm going to put it through the doorway, and I'm going to shut the door on it, and that's going to anchor it. Obviously I need to know that no one's going to walk through that door while I'm doing the exercises, and the same applies to you at home, yeah? So the first exercise I'm going to do is a pull down exercise with me facing directly towards the band. I'm going to use this band here. There's a door just off shot that you can't see. So again, as I said before, let's make sure that we're in a good position with our shoulder posture. I'm going to pop my hand onto the top of my shoulder there, just to make sure it maintains that soft muscle up there. So I'm facing towards the band. My palm is facing inwards, so I'm leading with my thumb there, and I'm going to pull down towards my pocket, and then slowly I come back up again. And you work within the pain-free range. So if it hurts when you come up to a certain level, then you just stop there. It's a slow, controlled movement, and the really important bit is that I go slowly as I come back up again. So you might get pops and creaks. We want to try and keep this muscle in a nice and soft, keep that shoulder in a good position throughout, yeah. So if you can tolerate it, I would aim for about 10 of them, and you might do as many as 3 sets a day. 2 sets a day would be good though. Start with what you can manage though. It might be you only begin by doing 5 repetitions and then it starts to hurt. And again, I just don't want you forcing into pain when you're doing it. The shoulder can sometimes get quite irritable if we go in with that whole no pain, no gain approach. So it's not what we're looking for here. We work with control and we work within the pain-free range. So again, you might start doing 10, you might build that up slowly to 15 a few weeks later, take that up to 20. You might slowly but surely build up towards doing it for a full minute even, which is brilliant. You know, see what you can manage, and it depends on the reasons you're exercising as well. You might be getting over an injury and trying to get back to sport again. That's good. So when you've done 10 of those, the next way we're going to do the exercise, so I was facing straight towards the band, and now what I'm going to do is face sideways onto the band. So again, my palm is facing, so the thumb's leading towards the ceiling, yeah? What I don't want to be doing is leading with the palm facing down, because you're more likely to squash the tendons in the shoulder with that position. So I'm sideways onto the band now. I set my shoulder posture, I'm going to monitor with my hand again, and here we go. I bring my hand down by my pocket, and then slowly back up again. So we keep on going there. Down by my pocket, and then slowly back up again. And again, you work within the pain-free range, and if you find it hurts when you get to a certain point, then that's where you stop, and then you come back down again. And it's all about maintaining this control and that slow and steady movement there. So we'll aim for about 10 of these. I'll do a couple more. That's great. Right, for the next exercise, I want to do a movement where I'm rotating the shoulder outwards, a movement we call external rotation. And I'll use this just because it's easy to get hold of. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a hold of the band, I'm going to set my shoulders into a good position, and again, if this is the arm that I'm exercising, the other one's just going to anchor it, and I'm just going to pull out and away, and hold for a few seconds, and then come back in again. So let's keep on going there. You tend to find if you go really far with this, it can just stir the shoulder up sometimes. It's a slightly more irritable exercise to do. So again, if you're not great with your shoulder, if you were really struggling, I would say maybe to start on those first 2 exercises and just get good at them for a while. And then it might be you come back and do some of the others at a later point. So that's 5 of those. I'm going to keep on going. I will show you progression to this as well in a moment. So yeah, all of these exercises, they're not going to give you any amazing big muscles to show off. This is more about strengthening postural muscles, But the important thing is that if you've got pain, it can really help to improve the symptoms. If you're struggling with raising the arm up over shoulder height, by strengthening the rotator cuff, it can improve significantly with some of those things. So it's good to do them. So there is a progression to this, and if you found this was getting easy, one way you could progress it would be moving from the yellow band to the red band. One way would be improving and increasing the number of repetitions you do. But this is a slightly more challenging. So I'm going to have my feet about one shoe length away from the wall here. You can't see them because they're off camera, I know. But what I'm looking to try and do, I get my shoulder blades so they're back and down, that good position that we talked about. And I'm going to have that nice long neck, so the back of my head, the knobbly bit of my head is touching against the wall there. I've increased the tension in the band there, so it's not floppy, it's got a little bit of resistance in it. And with this exercise, what I'm now going to do is like a forklift truck, or maybe one of those bin lorries that picks up the wheelie bins. I'm going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling and then back down again. And again. Up. Down again. So we're aiming for about 10 of that. I won't do the full 10, but you get the idea. So this would be a progression of that lateral rotation exercise we did a moment ago. So there's another group of muscles that work the shoulder in the opposite direction to that. If I take the loop of this and loop it around the door handle here, so you know what I'm doing. And the next exercise I'm going to try and do is a bit of a movement, a bit like I'm trying to hug myself across my tummy. So I've got the resistance band, I've set my shoulder in a good position, I'm going to put my hand on top there, and here we go. Bringing that arm across you, like you're giving yourself a hug, and then slowly back out again. And the whole time you're doing this, your elbow should stay tucked into your side there. So if I'd put a little piece of tissue paper in there, it wouldn't move, it wouldn't fall out. And it's a slow, controlled movement. Again, we're monitoring what's going on here. I'll just do a couple more there. So you can see what's going on. I'm taking my other hand away there. That's good. There we go. So we've done the rotation going inwards there. That was called medial rotation. We've done up in front of us, now to the side. There's one other exercise I wanted to do with you, and that's striding away from the rubber band to work the muscles on the front here. So if I loop the rubber band around this doorway, I'm going to exercise this shoulder here. So again, let's set the shoulder in a good position. Yeah, I'm going to monitor what's going on here, nice and soft on the top here, making sure I'm not hoiking my arm forwards there. And imagine that you're trying to carry a wheelbarrow. So I've got my arm down in front of me here. And what I'm going to now do is stride away from the band and then back in. I don't mind which leg you stride away with. You can alternate. If you've got a bad knee, you might just do it on one side and not the other. But as we hold that movement, we're actually working some of the muscles around the shoulder at the same time. So again, aiming for about 10. There we go, I'll do one more. That's great. Well, there's another exercise I wanted to do that doesn't involve the Theraband. It's more of a static push of the base of the elbow into a wall. So I'll use the wall just here. The reason being that there's some muscles that are deep underneath the shoulder blade. So when I'm doing this exercise, I'm going to keep my shoulders nice and wide apart here. So I'm going to lean against the wall. My feet are probably about so they're directly underneath my hips. I'm probably about a foot or so away from the wall. So I'm not leaning massively in. I'm in a nice upright position really. I'm going to bring my shoulders into that set position that I talked about earlier. So they're back into my back pockets. And what I'm looking to do with this exercise is I apply some resistance from the base of my elbow into the wall. A bit like if I had something there, maybe like a draw-in pin that I was trying to push in with my elbow into the wall. So here we go, keep that good position. And I'm going to push in and hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax. And again. So again, we're going to aim for 10 of those if we can. So you go at your own pace. It's not really a lot to look at here, is there? But you know, I'm pushing in and I hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax. And again, push in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and relax. So the whole point, if you imagine the wall is still there, I'm kind of pushing the elbow in towards the wall, but I'm not actually moving. It's just a resistance. It's an isometric hold as we push in that muscle there. So those are a good starting point with the exercises. There are progressions that you can do for all of them. It might be your therapist has guided you through those and taken you to some slightly more challenging ones. And for some people, it might be you stick with some really, really easy ones. There are easier things than this as well. Very often with the shoulder problem, we can also have things like problems with our neck, stiffness around the mid-back area as well. So it might even be you just do some gentle neck stretches. You might even just be doing things like a few stretches to make things. So I've got a neck stretches video. I'll put a link up at the end of this. So see how it feels doing the exercises. Work at your own pace. And it might even be you consider doing some other stretches for the upper back and neck alongside it, depending on how you present with your symptoms. So thanks for watching and see you soon.